Digital media ethics is the study of how to handle oneself ethically, professionally, and soundly in the digital news media. The moral standards that are utilized to establish what is ethically, which is good, and what is unethically, which is bad, are known as ethics. Ethics is a discipline of philosophy that concerns with principles, values, and qualities that influence journalistic terms of morality. Within the larger communication framework, ethics provide standards for identifying the best alternative action. Ability to use one's senses and mental powers to comprehend events as they happen. Principles are a set of guidelines that serve as a compass for directing one's behavior. Individuals seek to achieve certain values because they're in keeping with social standards. Virtues are the traits that enable a person to attain their goals by adhering to a set of rules. Ethics should establish guidelines, rules, norms, codes, and principles that guide journalists and other media professionals in making moral decisions. Digital media ethics is the study of how to handle oneself ethically, professionally, and soundly in the digital news media. It is concerned with the particular ethical challenges, procedures, and standards that exist. Digital media includes things like online journalism, blogging, digital photojournalism, and citizen journalism. These media are any type of communication medium that works with a variety of machine-readable data formats on a digital electronic device. Digital media can be created, viewed, distributed, edited, listened to, and achieved. Now, we are on the difference between media ethics and digital media ethics. Media ethics are defined as ethics that bring together philosophers, academics, media professionals to debate pressing ethical and moral questions for journalists and media to examine basic notions such as truth, virtue, privacy, rights, offense, harm, and freedom, which is used in answering them. It is also a branch of ethics that addresses moral issues arising in connection with acquisition, preparation, dissemination of information through the means of mass media. In essence, media ethics looks into contact with which guide them. In essence, media ethics looks into contact with guides the morality of journalistic actions, whereas digital media ethics deals with the distinct ethical problems, practices, and norms of digital news media. It addresses ethical questions that are dealing with the internet and internet-worked information and communication media such as mobile phones and navigation services. Digital media ethics is a transdisciplinary area that focuses on how ethical issues, standards, and practices that are related to communication, writing, and interaction have changed in the digital age. Now we are on the relationship between press codes of ethics and digital media ethics. Digital media ethics is concerned with the unique ethical issues, practices, and standards that exist in the digital news medium. Online journalism, blogging, digital photojournalism, citizen photojournalism, and social media are examples of digital news media. It asks how professional journalists should study and publish stories using this new media, as well as how to use the text and photographs contributed by citizens. All content that is published in a printed edition, all content that is published on a member's website, all content that is published on a member's social media account, and all content that is created by a member and published on any platform that is accessible via the internet. Regardless of whether the content is written, video, audio, or pictorial, or any other form, all content published by a member through one or more platforms mentioned above must comply with the code. Now we are moving forward to the suitability of universal ethical issues in the digital media space. Universal ethical issues adapt to deal with digital news reporting as they need to ensure that the news reported is not biased, privacy, and considering the public interest. More generally, it also includes stereotyping, taste, decency, obscenity, freedom of speech, and legal issues such as defamation. For example, on the ethics of media of images, there are news of ethical issues raised by the rise of new image technology. These images include both photographs and videos. Citizens and professional journalists have a new easy way to capture and transmit images such as cell phone linked to the internet via wireless technology. They have new technology of altering and manipulating these pictures. They manipulate the pictures in such a way that they add objects to the pictures or they take an object out of the picture. In this case, universal ethics should ensure that pictures used by journalists are correct and follow the rule of law and legality. This ensures how journalists or media should use the text and pictures provided by citizens. News manipulations. News can manipulate or be manipulated. Government and corporation may attempt to manipulate news media. Government, for example, by censorship, and corporation by sharing ownership. The method of manipulation is subtle and many. Manipulation might be voluntary or involuntary. With censorship, the universal ethics will ensure that news provided to people doesn't include racism or information that might make people to criticize the government. Now we are on the recommendation of ethical principles in a digital media environment amid COVID-19 regulation. Firstly, we have promote trust. Data consumers must be able to trust the digital services and the data that they are using. Media professionals must be able to provide us with reliable news in order to gain trust from their listeners and their readers. Secondly, we have design for privacy and integrity. Look after the equipment of the business. For example, journalists should not use business resources for private purposes for them to gain on their own. Thirdly, we have beware of bias. Unintentional ethical behavior can be caused by many things, but one of the more likely reasons will be due to subconscious bias that can influence human behavior. Confirmation bias is probably the most well-known example, where individuals seek or interpret information in a way that confirms their beliefs, hypotheses, or expectation, and dismiss opinions and information that are contrary to this. Fourth, we have to ensure there is accountability. Businesses should be responsible for their own actions. For example, if a news reporter publishes a damaging information to the public that is not true, the business nor the reporter must be accountable for his or her actions and apologize to the public for publishing such news. Lastly, we have promote trust. News reporters in media industries must ensure that they use polite language towards each other, help each other, and listen to advices from each other. This will lead to promote the image of the business. For example, workers must avoid bad-mouthing others about their language and culture or gender. In the final analysis, a media revolution is transforming fundamentally and irrevocably the nature of journalism and its ethics. The means to publish is now in the hands of citizens, while internet encourages new forms of journalism that are interactive and immediate. Our media ecology is a chaotic landscape evolving at a furious pace. Professional and social media users, amid every revolution, new possibilities emerge while old practices are threatened. Today is no exception. The economy of professional journalism struggles as audiences migrate online. Shrinking of newsroom create a concern for the future of journalism. Yet these fears are prompt experience in journalism, such as non-profit centers of the investigative journalism. A central question is what extent existing media ethics is suitable for today's and tomorrow's news media that is immediate, interactive, and always on. A journalism of amateurs and professionals. Most of the principles were developed over the past century, originating in the construction of professional objective ethics for mass media commission newspaper.